Oh, this is interesting. So, Chat and I were discussing this before the stream started. I'm curious what the rest of you think, those of you who weren't here at the time. This is a excerpt from a new Amazon Fallout series. Now, I'll say before I go in, I'm not very familiar with Fallout games, with the Fallout lore. I know a little bit about them. But having watched this, I thought it was all right. I'm sure the show will be terrible, as most shows these days are. But I have noticed some small indications of change in a positive direction in the movie industry, and maybe the sort of TV show industry as well. I don't know if they'll have hit this yet, but we'll see. And I thought this looked all right. Let's watch the excerpt.
Leave him alone. Now, I acknowledge that I'm unfamiliar with your circumstances, but at first glance, your treatment of this man appears unfair, and I'm obliged to intervene. Now, if your instinct is to harm me, as a person simply trying to de-escalate a conflict, then I'll have to assume of the two of you, you are likely the primary aggressor. In which case, I think everyone in this town would agree that force is justified. Unless you willingly stand down now.
Fucking vault dwellers.
Well, now that is a very small drop in a very, very large bucket of drugs.
She said stand down. Titus of the Brotherhood of Steel, stand down or be cut down.
You gotta be fucking kidding me.
I didn't see any of the common problems with that, to be honest. Nostalgia bait, sure, and people have commented that these characters wouldn't necessarily behave this way. But, like, slightly twisting the lore to make a show, or using characters who are unusual for their group could easily explain that. Like, those are fairly normal things to do. And he looks kind of cool, actually. The Vault Dweller, the woman, main character, probably. Cringe, yes, but that's the point. Is she's clearly unfamiliar with the rules of this territory, and she's acting like she would, given that she used to be from a civilized society, went in the freeze, and then came out in Hellscape Wild West. So she would act that way. If this was what we expect, if it was more ideological propaganda, it would in fact show her as a girl boss. But she's not. She's clearly very ill-equipped for this environment, and her attack failed against a masculine man, who was then interceded upon by a much more masculine man in huge battle armor, played for cool points. So I don't know, it seems like it could be good. Now, I never played the games, but it seems like it could be good for those that care. The freezer's just full of four. Okay, fair enough. Aiden says, what's looking better? We got American Society for Magical Negroes and a Damsel. Yeah, but those movies were set up years ago, and they did shit in the box office. Marvel's just cancelled like 4 superhero movies. And they are talking about how their current approaches don't work. I said just small indications. Didn't say that it's all flipping around all of a sudden. Just some small indications. But I don't know. This could be good. Kaiser Holt says, I swear if there are no adorable Bethesda glitches in the Fallout TV show, Todd Howard is done. Oh, Todd, how can I say no to those just works eyes? I've been watching a lot of Skyrim review videos lately. I've been kind of tempted to get back into modding it, but I don't know. I think the issues with Skyrim are things that you can't fix with mods. So I might not bother. No, Todd isn't retired. But this note says, that isn't just a desperate and naive person talking. Nobody talks like that even when nervous. The dialogue is clunky just because it isn't girl boss doesn't make it good. The dialogue is meant to be clunky. That's the point of that character. She's meant to not fit in, and this scene is very strongly playing the hand that she is a delicate like almost pacifist, a delicate, like a UN peacekeeper, an idealist, probably someone that has been trained in de-escalation and diplomacy and peacekeeping, but has never engaged in actual combat. And honestly, they wrote it well for that kind of character. They wrote the scene well for conveying that. I fully understand now. And again, maybe it's exaggerated from the game, so I don't think that's how vault dwellers are in every case, or to the full extent, but it's in that direction. Maybe they're exaggerating it for the show, but that's fine. Adaptations often have to do that. Aspie idealist. Sure, Puma, that's one way of putting it. Kill the blue helmets, yeah. People were saying that the ghoul would have killed straight away and that the Brotherhood of Steel guy wouldn't have cared about helping and would have killed. Sure. But if those are the differences, that's not differences of the kind that we've been used to seeing in the last few years. It might be a show that's not significantly marred by ideology. Now, of course, it's very possible that this excerpt simply isn't, that this is their strongest moment to sell to fans of the show, or fans of the game, sorry, and that all the rest of it is full of weird, like, wacky, progressive propaganda. That may be the case. But from this excerpt, it looks like there is at least a good moment, because I don't see a problem with this minute and a half. No, I don't, like, not ignoring the lore much, just, like, exaggerating it for the sake of creating a story, which I don't think is that bad. Like, they're sort of treating the Brotherhood of Steel guys as Iron Man in this excerpt. But again, as I said earlier, you could have individuals from these three groups who are somewhat different than the rest of their group. Now, it sounds like I'm carving out an excuse for them there, but this could be, right here, the scene where they set up three main characters, three unlikely allies from different factions and groups, who end up, because of some weird circumstances, being allied together. I mean, right now, you've got, he was about to kill her, but his hand has been stayed. Maybe they're setting up for them becoming friends later. Maybe just two of them are going to be. Don't know. But not every individual, every group acts the same, even in Fallout. Perhaps they were too similar in the games, and the show is opening up. I'm trying to remain positive here, chat. There's obviously many ways it could go wrong, but I don't think it should be written off just yet. Just from what I've seen here, Solden says Bethesda, Brotherhood of Steel are pussies. OG Brotherhood of Steel are killer ghoul on site. They probably are basing it more on Bethesda games, because I think those. Well, I don't know actually. I don't know if they're the more popular ones, but I think Bethesda currently owns it. Or, well, they're a developer. I don't know, actually. But either way, they probably consulted with Bethesda to make it. So probably it would be based on that. Possibly be enjoyable, but the details seem off for being made by fans. Maybe, Bright, maybe. But hey, like, there's lots of game adaptations that have existed, which were not made fully faithfully to the original game. That's a minus. But also were not hollow skin suit adornments of the game for the purposes of trying to propagandize to people that liked the game as an attack on them because the people making it hate gamers and games. Which is a much worse thing than just a somewhat unfaithful adaptation. And if it's a somewhat unfaithful adaptation, it might still be decent. Bethesda does own it, okay, says Aiden. Then it would be, yeah. The feel says you should adopt a little pessimism, you'll be disappointed less often. I don't find myself disappointed very often, actually. The things I'm optimistic about are things that are very plausible. And either come to pass or have not yet come to pass, but also haven't failed to. Unless there's something you guys can think of I was wrong about. But hey, Field, I think if there are plenty of creators already and plenty of natural reasons to be pessimistic, it's easy to get blackpilled by the world today. I think it's difficult, but highly useful to find the sources of hope to keep things going. I think by focusing on the good, I am doing so much more for helping the Anglosphere than by focusing on the bad. But regardless, I still point out the bad plenty often. Perhaps more so. Anyway,